Hey, this is Charles 9mm, and I got a great product to show you today. Today we're going to review the Crkt Saker Bushcraft knife. Stay tuned. Hey, how are you? Today we're going to review the Crkt Saker. Let's get that label right. The Saker Bushcraft knife from Crkt. Crkt is a very, very good company. They're a production company. They produce these overseas, and they do a very, very fine job. I think they're probably one of the best companies because they really listen to their customers, and I like that. They are also innovative and they take chances, which is terrific. This particular knife I'm very, very happy with. I don't think it's terribly expensive. It has got a very thick spine. It's made out of 1075 steel. Now, a lot of people think, oh, well, I want a real high carbon steel or whatever. The whole carbon content and so forth is very, very complex, and it has a lot to do with heat treat. And heat treat's never talked about. We talk about, I've got this fancy steel or I got that fancy steel, but if it's heat treated improperly, and I've said this before for years, you hear machinery in the background. It will not. It's not going to be any good. The 1075 is a little bit lower carbon, but that gives it a little more tensile strength and a little more elasticity. And what that does is it's not quite as hard, and that's good. And the reason why is because it'll take the impact of batoning, and that's what they taken into consideration. It's not that 1075 is that much cheaper than 1095 or whatever. But what it does is it just makes it a little softer, a little bit more elastic, and a little more tensile strength to handle all of the rough abuse that a bushcraft knife will happen. There's a lot of noise in the background of sirens and machines, so just bear with me on that. I got my bushcrafting kit here, and what we're going to do is we're going to do some batoning, because that's what everyone does, and I think that's what shows you if you have a good knife or not. And I guess that is an important thing if you're in a situation where you are batoning. I do recommend that you get yourself something like a Granfors Brook or a very good quality hatchet as well. If you're traveling very, very light, that may not be the option for you. So let's continue and do a little batoning. I have a little bit of fruit wood here. It's very dry, and let's get this set up. Bear with me. I'm going to shoot this old school. Not a lot of terrific angles or anything like that. I'm not too concerned about that, because what I'm trying to do is give you an honest review, and most people, I think, appreciate that this is quite raw. This is done in my backyard, and that's why I do it. Also, the other thing is I'm not getting some kind of a real easily splittable wood like a lot of people get something that's been drying or even parts somewhat rotted. This has been in my shed for a while, and it is quite dry. It did mold a little bit, and we're going to split this piece, at least get some chunks off of it by batoning. Now, batoning is, by the way, this came in razor sharp. Batoning is important, I guess, if you do not have an axe. It can be it's a good skill to learn, and it does tell you something about the knife. And this is going through quite nicely. Like I said, this is fruit wood. It's quite hard because you don't know what's going to be available for you in your situation. Always show great care when you're doing this. And this is just incredibly fibrous wood. By the way, handle is doing quite well, because this is a lot of vibration, so this would hurt your hand. So far, I'm very happy with the handle, because this is a very difficult piece of wood to split. I believe this is pear wood. And there we go. And I want to show you the fiber on that wood. This is an extremely difficult batoning task. And so that the fibers, I don't know if you can see that, make that a very, very difficult piece of wood to baton. Edge looks like it's in really good shape. Let's come over here and do a little feathering. And I am like a razor blade. Yeah, don't be fooled by all of these fancy steels. This talk of carbon this and carbon that. Unless you have studied metallurgy, a lot of that's not going to mean much to you anyway. So be very conscious of the fact that what you're looking for is some really good heat treating. You're looking for a carbon steel and very good heat treating. And some of that's just a matter of trial and error in a sense. Oh yeah, this is doing a good job. This is really hard wood too, and it's feathering like crazy. I'm really happy with that. What also came with this knife is another tool which I has taken quite a bit of beating in the on the internet. Is this little tool that came with the Saker Crkt. I like this tool. I know that it's gotten a lot of criticism about it, and people didn't like this the color of this cord. This cord is great. You drop that in the woods, you can find it. So there's a lot of thought went into this. The other thing, and back into my magic bag of tricks here, is this this sculpted part here, this scallop, makes more surface contact with a ferro rod, and you get actually more sparks from that. I'm very happy with that as well. That's an excellent thing, and it doesn't take up much room. The other thing is it's got like little serrations on it, and they just throw this in. As far as I'm concerned, this is a gift. That little section here can be used as a screwdriver. There's little teeth here. You can kind of shave if you got really hard wood and you're trying to get yourself a few little shavings. You can use it on your ferro rod to get sparks. You're not tearing up your knife. And what I found as well, that I have not seen other people do, is it'll actually take a spark from a piece of flint. It'll be really hard for you to see this in this light. There we go. Yeah, it's almost impossible. I can't see it on the camera, but I can see it. There we go. But I'm actually getting some decent sparking. I'm sorry you can't see that. But just like any other steel, flint and steel tool, you can use it as that as well. Had to wear off the coating, the anodizing on that spine there, and it worked just fine. For the space this takes and its weight, this is worth its weight in gold. I really like it. Your mileage may vary. Works great with flint. Works great with ferro tool. And the Crkt, I did bend the tip a little bit though. See that? That's something I may want to mention to them. Yeah. A little bit of a bent on the tip. I'll stone that off, but that's something to consider too. You may want to be careful when batoning to not hit that very tip, but easily stoned off. But all in all, this is an excellent knife. I very much like it, especially for the price. And I do like the wood handle. I think they've done a good job. It's got a wonderful sheath. I got it here. The sheath came with was heavy duty black sheath. Wonderful. Yeah, it's goes on that style as well. You can see how thick that is as well. They did a really good job, Crkt. Thank you very much. Good work. Appreciate it. Bushcraft knife. Saker. Crkt. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.